Sexual love as a spiritual experience, a case study of the role of kukati, the bedroom, in the Zambian traditional marriages toward a spirituality of sexuality. This is a research project submitted to the Faculty of Theology in candidacy for the degree of MA in Applied Spirituality by Father Laston Robert Lupupa, SJ, directed by Aileen Walsh. Dublin in the Lord's Year, May 2006. Introduction. The Encyclopedia of Catholic Doctrine explains human sexuality as one of the fundamental elements of human nature that gives us our identity as either male or female. The sexual acts of humans are said to be much more than simply physical actions, but rather actions that engage the entirety of the human persons, that is, the physical, psychological, and spiritual. However, engaging in sex on the physical level is now considered as an industry in itself, as the website for Sex Industry Survivors explains. The sex industry involves a wide range of activities, including prostitution, phone sex, stripping, pornography, mistressing, madaming, pimping, performing on live internet sex sites, advertising for a benefactor or sugar daddy. A lot has been written about sex in the secular world, and often without any connection to spirituality. It was in this light that I chose my thesis to examine if there is anything spiritual in sex, especially when we consider how much it has been abused. While on one hand the sex industry is booming, at the end of the spectrum is a practice of total abstinence from sex, namely celibacy. Has celibacy made any difference to our view of sexual love? I ask myself. It seems to me that sexuality as experienced in married life embraces both the physical and the spiritual aspects of sexual love. As a follow-up of this dichotomy, I will attempt to investigate how sexual love helps the married couple to experience divine love, what I refer to as agape. In this way, I wish to make a contribution to the ongoing discussion and to find a relationship between spirituality and sexuality. In this course which you have enrolled, Sexual Love as Spiritual Experience, we are going to look at a case study on the significance and meaning of sexual love in the Zambian traditional marriages. I wish to use the term the bedroom experience to refer to sexual love in marriage. The name of the master bedroom in the Bemba language, for instance, as in many other Zambian languages, has a special connotation that distinguishes it from other bedrooms in the house. It is referred to as kukati, meaning the interior. Traditionally, this is a room that is exclusive to the husband and wife. Children are excluded from the kukati once they have reached the age of reason. As young children, we found the barring from the kukati very, very mysterious. In a way, the parents' bedroom can be compared to the respect given to the sanctuary of a church or the Holy of Holies of the Jewish temple. My research takes the Zambian context for its reflection on the ongoing discussion on finding a spirituality of sexuality using the Western or Christian understanding of human sexuality. I was encouraged to choose this topic after my experience in Chicago in the USA, where I did a 1-month course in sexuality and spirituality at the Institute for Sexuality Studies at the Catholic Theological Union. It was conducted by Kevin McClone, M. Divinity, Psychology, Divinity, a licensed clinical psychologist and certified addictions counselor. The course helped me deepen my understanding and appreciation of the psychological, spiritual, and ethical and biological dimensions of human sexuality and how these are connected with spirituality. Doing research on and discussing human sexuality is not easy, since it is one of those subjects that are rarely talked about. It is interesting to note that even married people, sex and sexuality are rarely discussed. Sipe notes that, Sipe is one of the authors that I consulted, notes that sex has often taken on the aura of the forbidden, the sinful, the secret, and the unspeakable. This may be due to the stories or myths we have surrounding sexuality. Rousseau and Gallagher to make a point when they say that love in our culture is equated with sex and with intercourse. They add that love story is always about two people who are sexually attracted to each other, and that sexual love, sexual desire is only acted in one way, through intercourse. My research has taken into consideration Sipe, who argues that sex, unlike mathematics or physics, where one can attempt to take up an entirely dispassionate and objective stance, cannot be studied in the abstract. Thus, I found myself emotionally engaged with the material and the information I gathered from reliable sources. The first chapter of my dissertation is a literature review which aims to provide a background to our discussion on the spirituality of sexuality. In this chapter, I will explore the history of sexuality in the Judeo-Christian traditions and the views of the Roman Catholic Church. The second chapter will look at the contemporary issues of sexuality and its relationship to spirituality. I will explore some working definitions of sexuality and spirituality, realizing that we cannot talk about sexuality in the abstract. I will consider marriage as my context and see if it can be taken as the ideal place for their bedroom experience. The third chapter will give the research methodology, profiles of the interviewees, and analysis of the research findings. I will also explain the role of kukati, which is the bedroom, in the Zambian context. Having done so, I will then try to relate the findings from the interviewees, from those that I interviewed, made from married couples in Zambia, and to the material in the literature review. Finally, in the fourth chapter, I will give some conclusions drawing from the literature review and the research findings. I will then make some recommendations towards an applied spirituality of sexuality. There you are. That is the outline presentation for today. May God richly bless you. Ciao.